What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 1, man. The final three episodes finally dropped today, man, and oh my god. This show is amazing. We got a lot to talk about, especially in the spoilers section of the show, man. But let me get the way out of the way, man. Because I've seen a lot of praise for this show. Deservedly so. Though, I do think people are jumping the gun a little bit with this show. I've heard people declare that this is just as good as Spectacular Spider-Man, that this is the successor to the Spectacular Spider-Man, that this is the third best Spider-Man cartoon series we have gotten, man. And no, on all three accounts. First of all, man, the third best Spider-Man show, at least in my personal opinion, is the new animated series. You know, the MTV one, man? That's my third, man. This is fourth. I would put this at number 4. I would put this at number 4. Because, like, listen, I love that show, man. I feel like a lot of people forget about it. It's very underrated, man. A lot of people forget. Most people probably don't even remember that show. I'm pretty sure I got the entire series of the DVD, like, volume releases, man. The DVD volume releases, man. And that show, man, was fun, Crumb. I would definitely put that one over Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So this is my, if I had to rank them, this would definitely be 4th. This would definitely be number 4, in my personal opinion, man. I would not call this a successor or just as good as Spectacular Spider-Man. This show is nowhere near the quality of Spectacular Spider-Man. I feel like it's kind of laughable to even compare it to that show, man. Like, is it the best Spider-Man cartoon we have gotten to Spectacular? Absolutely. But that's not a very high bar to prove because Ultimate Spider-Man is very mixed, man. Very mixed reception. Some people liked it, some people hated it. I personally enjoyed Ultimate Spider-Man from a handful of episodes I have seen, man. I enjoyed the show for what it is. And, well, yes, is it as good as Spectacular? Fuck no. But I think it's still an overall great show, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The 2017 series, man, nobody liked that fucking show. Everyone hated it, man. And, like, from the handful of episodes I saw of it, man, it's fine. Like, I wouldn't go as far as say I hate it, but I would. But it was very mid. Yes, this is definitely the best one of the since Spectacular, man. But I would not put this anywhere near the quality or the level of Spectacular in any sense of the word, man. Now who knows? Don't get me wrong, that could change, and like I said, they're working on season 3, or at the very least, it's been greenlit. So that could change my mind. There was a lot of good in this show, man. There's a lot I'm looking forward to, and that could change my mind as we go further into the series. I might say, okay, hold on, this actually is fair for you to compare it. It is worthy of that comparison to Spectacular Spider-Man. But as of right now, season 1, no, it is not. Fuck no. It is nowhere near that quality. In my opinion, if you feel that way, hey, more power to you, man. I'm not the type of person that to get you on your opinions most of the time about shows. If you enjoy something, you enjoy something. You know me, I have very controversial opinions. There's a lot of shows or movies I like that a lot of people didn't like, man. So, you know, I'm not here to get on some like high horse about this kind of thing, man. But for my personal spread, I think people are jumping the gun a little bit, saying that the show is just as good as Spectacular when it is far from it. But like I said, that could change in the future with season 2 and season 3 because there's a lot of good in this show, man, and I'm really excited to see where they can be going on in future seasons. But anyway, man. But anyway, enough of me rambling about that, man. The show itself was fantastic, man. A lot we gotta discuss here, man, especially when we get to the spoiler discussion. And yeah, without further ado, man, enough of me rambling. Let's just jump right into the show. So the show stars Hudson Themis, if I'm pronouncing there, Charlie Cox, Colin Domingo, Grace Song, Zeno Robinson, Kari Walgreen, and of course the GOAT, Josh Keane, which obviously we'll talk about Josh Keane's cameo and the role he plays in this show later on, of course, my man Alex Lee. And the plot of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is following Peter Parker on his way to becoming a hero. That's literally the Google synopsis. Now, first of all, man, I want to talk about the cast, man. The cast is great, man. Like, I mentioned before my first impression that Hudson Themis I thought was fine as Spider-Man, but I would say after the show goes on, man, he is very good. I would still put him in that, like, middle category of Spider-Man voice actors. Like I would put him right there with Drake Bell and Robbie David. I put all three of them in that same middle of the road category where they're fine as Spider-Man, but you will never hear me clamoring for their return or me really going off. Like, that's just my personal opinion. I think he's good, especially as the future of the show went on, man. And he's quipping a lot, man. His performance is very good. I'm not going to tell you that he gave a bad performance or anything, man, but I think he's still in that middle. I would say out of the 3, he's probably my favorite out of those three guys I mentioned. At least from the bits I heard of him, man. But like I said, I didn't really wasn't that floored by his performance. I wouldn't consider him one of the Spidey greats in terms of voice actors. in my perspective. I would definitely say he's very middle of the road, like I said, with Robbie Daymond and Drake Bell. Because I like Drake Bell, man. I thought he was fine for what he is. Yeah, obviously trying to follow Josh Keaton was an impossible task. I feel like anyone besides Yuri would look like shit in comparison, man. But, you know, I thought Drake was fine. I always thought Drake was fine. From the bits of I've heard Robbie, he's fine as well. Same with him, man. I think he's fine. He's probably my favorite of the three, man. And he has a very good performance, man. But I wouldn't really say he's breaking new ground, man, or lighting the world on fire with his power. He's definitely nowhere near the level of Yuri or of obviously Josh or Christopher Daniel Barnes, man. Even, you know, fucking Quinn Flynn, who you guys have played in Ultimate Alliance 1. Ben Diskin, I would also put higher than him, man. Those two would not, I wouldn't put, they would be like the level above these three, man. They would be like very good. The same with Neil Patrick Harris, especially in the 2003 series, man. I would put them in the, I would put, like I said, those three were the mid. This three would be in the good category. And obviously, Yuri, Josh, and Christopher Daniel Barnes are in the GOAT tech category, honestly. That is my hierarchy for Spider-Man voice actors. But yeah, man. But yeah, like I said, I thought he was pretty good, man. Charlie Cox, man, is Daredevil, man. He's like in 2 episodes, man, and he's great. He did sound a little different. I noticed at the first when he like first showed up, man, and for like the first like minute he was talking in his episode with this fight with Spider-Man, he did sound a little weird. I was like, why does Troy sound different? Like, I was starting to think they actually like were joking that they were just messing with us all the time. He was there, and then she just got a voice match. But as he went down, I was like, okay, there's Charlie. I hear it now. But he did sound a little off at the start of his episode, man. I'm not gonna lie, he did sound a little different. Toby said, like, is that really Charlie? But he sounded great, man. Colin Domingo, who plays Norman, I thought he was great as well, man. Zeno, you guys know how much I love Zeno Robinson, man, from his anime work as like Hawks, Ginjo, I think his name he plays in Demon Slayer. Ginjo, whatever. Tons of other, I'm slipping on them all right now. But you guys, Hawks, obviously. But y'all know I love Zeno, man. He's great as Harry in the show, man. Carrie, you guys know, is an anime OG, voicing Haruko and Fooly Cooly, Saber in the Fate series. Tons of other roles, man. She's great. Emma isn't in the show a whole lot. She's in like maybe 3 episodes total, I think. And she doesn't have much screen, but she's good, obviously, whenever she's appearing, man. Obviously, Josh is a GOAT, and he sounded great, man. Big E, who you guys know is also in the show as well. He was one of the 100th gang sort of thing, man. He sounded pretty good, man. He was only in a couple episodes, man. I didn't really even recognize him until the final one. But Big E, man, he sounded pretty good, man. It's kind of weird how 2025 seemed to be like the year of wrestlers making their voice acting, because as you guys may also know, Alexa Bliss is in the dub for Sakamoto Days. I don't think her episode's actually dropped yet from the episode that she's in. But yeah, she's in the cast. She's been announced that she's in there, man. So yeah. Biggie, he's great as well, man. I think the rest of the cast was overall solid as well. Especially Eugene Bird? I'm not even pronounce his name. Burned, I know you pronounce his name, who plays Tombstone. Lonnie Lincoln in the show, man. He's great, man. I really like what they did with Lonnie in this show, man. I think what they did with him, man, is really interesting. I'm definitely excited to see when he does make his full transformation into Tombstone, which looks like we'll probably get that in Season 2, given how Season 1 ends. But like I said, we'll leave that for spoiler coverage. And of course, we got to talk about Nico, the newest addition to the show, man, as Peter's like female friend, played by Grace Song. She's great as well, man. I really dug Nico. She's definitely obviously a new addition to the character, new addition to Spider-Man universe. I think this is like her first appearance in a completely new original character, man. But she's great, man. I really like what they did with Nico, and I thought she was a really cool character, man. And I'm excited to see what they have in store for future things. Which actually, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my first impression as well. But apparently, she was actually originally going to be Jessica Jones in I guess like earlier drafts of the show, man. Before they switched to make her Nico. Which honestly, I would have been down to see Jessica Jones return, but I really like Nico, man. I thought she was a great addition to the cast of the show, man. And yeah, we also got a ton of other characters that we've already known about that come to the show, man. We got Scorpion here. Chameleon is literally a glorified cameo, man. Dr. Octopus as well. Doctor Strange, man. All of them are great, man. As you guys know, Colin Jeff voices the symbiote alien in the show, man, which you see in the first episode. And yeah, he was great, man. I'm looking forward. Hopefully we get to see him play like Venom fully, and like given how this show ends in the final episode, man, I think we might see that, but we'll save that for my silent spoilers. But I also gotta say, man, Roger Craig Smith has to be like the ADR, the voice director's favorite VA, man, because the dude is fucking everywhere in the show. He plays the chameleon. He plays the coach. He plays, like, I think someone else in the show, man. He plays so many characters in the show, man. He was popping up in damn near every episode. I was like, God damn, bro, they really like Roger Craig Smith in there, man. Also, Sarah Nacheni, who you guys know play, who was obviously the second voice actress to take over Ash from Veronica Taylor, when voiced her all the way up to when Ash, became the Pokemon champion and everything, and of course they switched the anime and Ash was like, no longer the protagonist, and they go into new characters for the Pokemon anime. She's in here as well, playing another one of the Russian mobsters, man, which was also when I found out that she's like actually Russian, because as you guys may remember, right after when it was announced that she was done with Pokemon and everything, man, and all that, she got cast in this new show, this rom-com with Aaron Dismute, that was about this girl that speaks Russian. I forget the exact title, but the main girl in that one is Russian, and she speaks Russian, and she was cast in that role. I was like, oh, cool, she's in a new show, man, rom-com. It's a bit more, that's a bit more adult than Pokemon. I'm sure she was having a blast. I saw clips of the show, and I'm sure she was having a blast, finally being freed from the shackles of Pokemon and kids television, man. And I just thought it was just that, man. Like, she was cast for the show, man. Cool, whatever. I didn't know she was actually Russian until she tweeted that she was in this show and she played this character. I was like, oh shit, you're actually Russian. That's probably why you were cast in that show. I didn't see any tweet or mention she was Russian when that show came out, but it wasn't until this one. I was like, oh, you're actually Russian. Okay, I guess that makes sense why you were cast in the show with the girl that speaks Russian. Anyway, but yeah, the cast is great, man. The animation, which you guys know, was a major talking point for this show, man, especially when it first started, though the animation has definitely dwindled since then, man. I made my opinions clear on that one, that I thought the show looked pretty good. Like, there are definitely some moments that are a bit wonky. Mostly in the first episode, in the first 3 episodes when we saw. The rest of the show, man, I thought looked great, man. Like I said, the fights looked fantastic. Especially in the Daredevil episode and the final episode, man. The final episode has this amazing final swing segment that looked phenomenal, man. And the Daredevil fight between him and Spidey was phenomenal, man. I love that fight so much. It's like almost the perfect fight I would expect for Spider-Man and Daredevil, man. I also do like the presentation that they do take cues from its comic book inspirations, man, where you have like panels in there splitting certain shots off of the panels, like the Ultimate Spider-Man game, man, which I thought was a nice touch, man. I like this show definitely does lead into its comic book roots in that sense. So yeah, art animation, man, I thought was pretty good, man. I like, and the art style is based off an actual like just like a comic artist as well. I forget the dude's name, but he's great, man. And so yeah, it's kind of, because you guys remember I mentioned my first part that I thought that they looked like they were going for like a Ditko art style, which I guess was kind of the point of the show, but they went with a actual like official Marvel like comic artist to actually do the character designs, or at least was based off his art style for the show. Probably because it did look like Steve Ditko. It did feel very Ditko inspired. But yeah, man. So now enough of me talking about the cast. The characters, man, I like what they did. Like I said, I mentioned before how I like what they did with Nico's characterization. We find out more about her as obviously the show progresses onward, man. And I really like what they did with her and Harry, because obviously the first series she doesn't like Harry. She's like, oh, he's a rich boy. He doesn't know anything. He's spoiled. This, that, and third. And we really get to see them grow together. Like there's a whole episode where I'm not trying to get too deep in spoilers, where Harry has to kind of fix something that he kind of fucked up, and I really liked how they managed to reconcile. You get to see her and Harry start to grow closer as friends, and I really liked that episode, man. I thought that was a great episode. I liked Peter's characterization. I liked how they showed off him just being a kid, Spider-Man. Like there's a sequence when he's fighting off against Scorpion that I thought was really well handled, man. Especially the final episode. I like what they did there, man. Like I said, not to get too deep into spoilers, man, but I really like what they did with there, man. But probably the highlight of the characterization in this show, man, probably has to go to Lonnie Lincoln Tombstone, which it wasn't until like later on the show that I put two together, like, oh shit, he's Tombstone. Oh shit, we're gonna watch him become Tombstone. That literally never clicked with me throughout like the first couple of till they like mentioned his name and said like Tombstone. That literally never clicked with me. But I love what they do with him. To get a little bit into some minor spoilers here, what happens is that obviously he's like the store QB at the school, man. He's got everything going on, man. He's got a girlfriend, man. Everyone loves him. And then his brother starts to get involved in this gang. And in this gang, and then eventually, so that his brother can get out of that gang to help out his brother out, man, he basically trades places with him. He takes his brother, gets out, and the gang takes him in. And we get to see him as we slowly see him turning into Tombstone Man. He drops out of school. We see him kind of like starting to come to sort of fit into like the criminal world, I guess you could say, man, and become a part of the game. We do see him slowly growing and becoming Tombstone. And I really liked him, man, especially those first couple episodes, man, where we see him, when we first see him and he's first starting to transition to the game before he just like drops out of school completely. I really like those episodes, man. I thought out of all the characters, man, he was definitely the best in terms of characterization, man. I really like what they did with him, man, and he was probably the star when it came to characterization, man. Norman, I thought, was really well done as well. I like what they did with Norman. Obviously, him taking over the role of Tony Stark in this universe, man, as him being like a mentor to Peter. And I really like what they did with him, man. There's some cool stuff with Norman that they do in this show, man. But yeah, like I said, definitely Lonnie is definitely probably the highlight from the cast, at least in characterization in this show. But I love what they did with Lincoln. I'm really excited to see where we're going to see him and his like eventual transformation into Tombstone in future seasons. The intro obviously is, of course, a banger, man. Like, I was not expecting the intro to go so hard as it does, man, but that intro fucking slaps, man. Not gonna lie, man. I love the intro for this show, man. I like that they also had like their own individual title cards for each episode, even one that was based off of Spider-Man No More and Amazing Fan number 15, man, which I thought was a nice touch, man. I also do like the suit. This is something I never mentioned in my actual first impression of the review, but I never actually mentioned the original, like, homemade suit, I guess you want to call it, man. I like it. I like the look of it, man, and which then eventually turns into the Future Foundation suit, man, which was cool to see the Future Foundation suit, although it does, to be fair, it doesn't really make sense for him to be wearing the Future Foundation suit because, it was made for, the Future Foundation, so in continuity, it doesn't really make sense for him to have that suit in this show, man, but it was cool seeing, of course, eventually the show ends. This isn't a spoiler because it's literally all over the posters. Since the beginning of the show, man, they've been having the red and blue suit all over the posters, ending with the show with him getting the red and blue suit, which looks pretty good. Although I will say my one minor critique of it is that I don't like that the back logo is also on the front as well. It looks kind of hideous, if I'm being honest. I feel like they should be like, that's a logo that should be on the back logo. They should look on the front. It looks kind of ugly on the front. It should be two separate logos, in my personal opinion. But yeah. And just for like any other negatives I have with the show, man, like I mentioned before, some of the animation is a bit wonky in places, man, where it definitely does look a little off, but like I said, most of the time the art and animation looks very good, man. There's a lot of good cuts for the fights, man. The animation always looks good for the fights, man, but there definitely is some moments where the animation does look a bit wonky. And yeah, that's about everything I can talk about the show without obviously getting into spoilers. So like usual, guys, I'll give you guys my final verdict, and then we'll end the video off and get into spoiler discussion. So anyway, guys, overall, my final verdict, first for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 1, because like I said, they already got the thing up there already, like working on Season 3. At least it's been greenlit for Season 3. I don't know if that means Season 2 is already finished or not. Whatever the case may be, is a 9 out of 10, guys. Like I said, this is a fantastic show, man. Like I said, this is easily the best Spider-Man cartoon we have gotten since Spectacular, but I wouldn't put it on the same level as Spectacular. I wouldn't call it the third best Spider-Man anime series we've got. Like I said, that honor, at least for me personally, goes to the new anime series from the early 2000s by MTV. Seriously, that show is a banger, man. It's very 2000s, man, but goddamn, that's why I love it. I love the art style of it, man. Oh, that show is so good, man. And Neil Patrick Harris is a fantastic Spider-Man, I must say. He is a great Spider-Man. Like I said, he's not quite on the level of like Josh and Urian, but he is close. He is damn close. Right there with Clint Flynn, man, and Ben Diskin, man. They are all amazing voice actors for Spider-Man. All right, man, but they're definitely not that GOAT status, at least to me personally. But they're all great, man. Seriously, man, if you haven't watched the show, go watch it. The whole show's on Disney Plus as well. Although apparently, at least when it was perfectly, I don't know if this has since been fixed. I do remember some people mentioning how like the episodes were out of order, and that they were apparently like sped up a bit compared to like when they were airing or on the DVD releases. I'm not sure if that's still the case, man, but I remember saw a couple of tweets about that, about how the show's release how the show looks isn't completely 100% perfect on Disney Plus, man. But it probably looks better than what you'll find streaming unless you go buy the DVDs. But yeah, it's on Disney Plus, so go watch it. Anyway, guys, like I said, without getting spoilers, so if you guys do not want to get spoiled, leave. So, let's talk about Josh Keaton, the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, Josh Keaton. Now, it was obviously revealed, or I don't think it was ever revealed in any trip, but I think Josh tweeted out that he was like, oh, you know, doing something special, and it was like a poster of this Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man poster. And then Alex Lee was in the replies, like, oh, bro, when were you in the studio, man? No, I didn't see you. So, and then we find out that he's actually playing, and this is Loki kind of meta, and you guys know me, how much annoyed I've been, where I've mentioned countless times that I'm so annoyed that every time Spidey's in a game, or a cartoon or whatnot, man, Josh has never voiced him. Like I said, I feel like there's a deeper conspiracy that, like, ever since Disney screwed him over with that crossover episode they were going to do with, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and they switched to Josh to Drake at the last minute so he could tie him with Ultimate. And like completely redubbed his audio, and they didn't tell him and everything, man. They don't think that there's like some of that deep in Spidey's office right underneath, Never Undoing One More Day. Right under that is never casting Josh in anything, because like the only times he ever got to play Spidey is when Disney isn't directly involved, like in Spider-Verse, Invincible to a certain extent, if y'all remember that whole thing. And yeah, so like anyway, so when he was announced that he was in the show, man, I was excited, but I was also kind of like, man, bro, I was wishing you were voicing Spidey, man. And a lot of people were theorizing that it was going to be Captain America, because in this universe, Spidey is known to be a huge Captain America fan in this universe, which I thought was interesting, man. Although we never see Cap in the show, man, and I do think it was actually kind of cool how they do interweave the MCU's events into the show. Like I said, the first episode, I think it was the first episode, it might have been one of the future episodes. They ended basically by reshooting the beginning, his opening, his debut rather in the MCU, with the DVD player going up there to meet up with Aunt May, and then Norman is already there in place of Tony Stark, like we saw in Captain America: Civil War. So I thought that was cool, man, how they did that, man. But we also get to see the events of Civil War did mention, was the Sokovia Treaty, man, with there's mention of Cap and Iron Man doing their thing, man. And I think that was kind of cool how they still managed, well, this is definitely MCU adjacent, they still managed to interweave the MCU's events of Civil War into the show, man. I thought it was kind of cool they did. But anyway, a lot of people theorized that it was going to be Cap, because from the start of the show, we know that he is a big Captain America fan in the show, man. Uncle Ben's already been dead before he even gets his powers, man, which I know a lot of people are iffy about that one, which I'm kind of iffy about as well. I feel like Uncle Ben shouldn't be dead until after he gets his powers, and we do the whole great power comes great responsibility thing. But I do like that we do get to see that, man, and we do get to see it kind of like, I guess, corrupted in a way, where Norman says to Peter, and he doesn't say with great power comes great responsibility. He says with great power comes great respect. And I thought that was cool. Harry also says, go get him, Tiger, which I'm not too thrilled about, man, because that's MJ's thing. I don't know why he's saying it, man. Why you gotta give it to Harry, man? Give it to my girl MJ. I feel like that line's kind of sacred. Nobody but MJ should be saying that, but that's just me. I'm also just desperate for to see Spidey and MJ in fucking anything these days, man. Y'all know that we have been starving. Ultimate Spider-Man has been our godsend for us Spidey MJ shippers. But anyway, I digress. So, as I was saying, a lot of people think that it was Cap. Some people thought it might be Iron Man as well, because he's played Iron Man as well. It ended up being neither, and we find out that Josh's role, like I said, this is very meta, he's playing Peter's dad, Richard Parker. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Keaton, the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, the voice of my childhood, and many other men. Y'all know how much I love Josh, man. You know how much he means to me as performance of Spidey. Is Peter's dad in this show, man. And I thought, and you guys know me, I'm always kind of annoyed by that whole thing, but I'm like, you know what, man? I'll take it, man. They're like, this is kind of meta, man. I like what they're doing here, man. So you know what? I'll take it. I won't even complain about this one, because I thought this is kind of an interesting idea that they're going with having him play Peter's dad. Now, we don't know what he is. We know that he's in prison in Aunt May, and we have to show off with Aunt May meeting him in prison. Is he a criminal? Is he still an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? And, he's chilling in prison for, like, leaking some documents or something. We see him with Aunt May, with Peter as a kid, and no Uncle Ben, although we do get to see Uncle Ben in the show, man. We actually get to see a picture of him, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, we actually see what Uncle Ben looks like in the MCU. Y'all know me, if y'all follow me on Twitter, man, that was losing my goddamn mind when that popped up in whatever episode that was. I was like, holy fuck, we actually see him, man. But yeah, so I don't know what that could mean. Is he an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Is he just a criminal? Is he framed for a crime he didn't commit? I don't know. I'm just excited to see that Richard Dace playing Richard Parker, and I'm excited to see what they're good. Like, you guys remember, I want to see season 2 right now just so I know what happens with Josh. Not really because of anything else to show. I just want to know what's happening with Josh. But that was a pretty cool reveal, man, and I'm excited to see what Josh, what they have in store for him in season 2 and season 3. Amadeus Cho, like I said, who's played by Alice, was great as well, man. I like what they did with a lot of the interns, man. I think I mentioned this in my first impressions as well. I am curious to see how they're gonna do with Amadeus, and they're gonna eventually have him turn into the Hulk and do an episode with that, man. We do see the Goblin glider in the episode, man, which is pretty cool. I'm like, oh shit, Goblin, we're gonna see the Green Goblin, man. And we actually do see Norman, and like we find out that the whole thing with Doctor Strange, a symbiote alien to destroy Midtown, was actually time travel, where Doctor Strange and the symbiote alien were fighting inside Oscorp when he opened his like wormhole to allow the symbiote in there, man. Doctor Strange comes here to fight it off, goes through one of his portals that takes him back in time to that moment where they're fighting from the first episode, and basically it's just a loop, which I thought was really fucking cool. When we saw them, and that's how he got bitten by a spider, and we found the spider actually came from Oscorp, very much akin to Ultimate Spider-Man, because you guys remember in the original Ultimate's continuity, the spider was created by Oscorp, man. No one was trying to like make super soldiers or whatever, man. He tried to use these spiders, it bit Peter, and then from there he tried to replicate, and they tried to kill Peter, and eventually becomes like the big, the monster goblin thing. So, which makes me wonder if they're going to go in that direction for the show, man. But given we see the glider, they're probably going to go with a traditional Green Goblin look, man, with the glider and the costume and everything, man. But we'll have to wait and see on that if we actually do see him turning into the Green Goblin. But that was pretty cool to see the Goblin glider as well when he fought Scorpion, man. That whole fight, man, was really fucking cool. I like what they did with that, man, where Spidey's getting his ass beat by Scorpion, and we see the after effects of it, the fear he has, the PTSD he has from that, and like when he faces off again, now with the red and blue costume, man, I like the way that was directed here, where we see Peter gets like a bit of like an anxiety attack, a panic attack. His PTSD starts to come up there when he meets up with Scorpion again, and what happened last time where he almost died, man. And we kind of do the whole thing like in No Way Home, where he's like beats the shit out of him, he like almost to near death, and is about to like impale him. And then just like with Toby, Tombstone comes in there to stop him. Hey man, they look up to you, don't do this, man. I was like, all right, finally Peter's got his edge again, let's go. Because I definitely do agree with people that say that they're not too big on goody two-shoes Peter, because yes, Peter is a good guy, but he's always kind of had an edge to him. And I feel like I kind of agree with people that are kind of annoyed that the MCU has kind of like softened him out, as in a sense, man, like softened him out where he doesn't have that edge anymore. At least very rarely does he actually show it. I definitely think Peter should have a bit of an edge to him, a bit of a chip on his shoulder to his head, because he is a teenager at the end of the day, man. And I kind of like when Peter is a little bit of a dick, and when he's like, fuck you, and he doesn't let everyone just people like walk all over him. You know what I mean? I definitely do prefer that, man. Whenever he do gets that kind of Peter in the MCU or in this show, I definitely like him, man. So that was pretty cool to see as well. That whole episode was really done well done. Like I said, the fight itself with that original fight with Scorpion was really fucking cool as well. I also like the design of him in the show, man. Like with his tail can like detach in a sense, man, where it can like extend out a little bit more than it usually does, man. I thought it was really cool, man. Doc Ock's in the show, man. We don't really get much of him, man. And the show ends obviously insinuating and setting up for him getting his arms in season 2, which I'm really excited for. And yeah, man. Norman obviously Harry finds out that Peter is Spider-Man. Norman finds him out because Peter like switched costumes while he was still in Oscorp on like some stairwell from his hidden cameras, from Norman's hidden cameras. And then Harry finds out, and then he tells Nico because he thought she already knew, which that whole thing. Which I will say, this is one other problem I did with the show that I forgot to mention this earlier in the review. I thought the way that Nico reacted to it was a little bit weird, and it didn't really make much sense, because what we know of the show is Nico and Peter met basically at the start of the year when they met at the first day of orientation for Midtown High. But the way she was coming off about Peter when she found that he was Spider-Man, he didn't tell her, made you think that they were like childhood friends when they've only known each other for like what, a month? She's kind of going like, oh, we know each other so well. We don't keep secrets from each other. She makes it sound like they are childhood friends that have known each other since birth, when in reality they've only known each other for like a month. maybe a month and a half by the time when the series starts, man. So I felt it was a little bit weird how Nico was read like they were childhood friends when they've only really known each other for a month about this whole thing with Peter. I thought that was a little bit weird as well. I forgot to mention in the early review, but then again, would have been spoilers anyway. So that I thought was a little bit weird as well. But I like the episode that followed when Harry's trying to like reconcile with her and trying to like fix things up with Peter, and you get to see her and Harry bond where she realizes, oh, Harry isn't some dumbass rich kid. He actually has a heart. He's kind of cool, man. I like that, man. I don't know if they're gonna plan on doing any relationship with Nico and Harry or Nico and Peter at all. I'm sure the shippers have already gone wild on this kind of thing, man. But I would not be opposed if they go in either direction with the show and where they start to build a romantic relationship with Nico and Harry or Nico and Peter. Just pray to God, don't give me no goddamn love triangle. That's all I ask. No love triangles, man. That shit never works. Keep it one way or the other, man. Do not try and play both sides, man. Please, I beg of you. But yeah, man, we also found that Nico has some connection to magic, where we see she wears this medallion, man, and we see it like light up when she's like driving Harry's like Porsche or whatever, and he like does like the street race with some girl, man, and she's like almost about to hit something, but then the medallion activates and gets her out of the way. There's a second time, and then at the end of the episode, we see her basically doing some sort of witchcraft thing going on to contact her mother. So I don't know what this could mean. Is she the Scarlet Witch of this universe, man? Is she related to Wanda? Is she related to some other witch? Is she related to fucking Agatha or something? So I don't know, but it seems like she's some sort of witch or magic user. So I'm curious to see what that's going to be. Hopefully we'll find that out in season 2, or hopefully we'll see what's up with Herman. But I'm really curious what they have going on with that. Obviously the big one, Tombstone, man. At the end of the episode, man, we see him like where he's like raiding like this Oscorp like truck that has a bunch of Doc Ock's equipment in there, man, so that they can get some fancy weapons in there. While he's looking through the boxes, man, like this canister falls open and opens up, smokes envelops the truck. He starts coughing as he tries to get out there, man. He then has unbreakable skin. And the final episode, man, if you pay attention close, you can actually see his hands starting to turn gray. So we slowly starting to see the transformation of him turning into Tombstone, as well as ditching his varsity jacket in the trash as he rides off in the final episode, man. So I wouldn't be surprised in season 2 he's either fully transformed into Tombstone, or we're going to see him, or we're going to see, that's one thing we're going to see the show, is him going and turning into Tombstone more and more. His skin starts to become more gray and gray until he looks like, Tombstone. So I'm really excited to see where that goes, man. And yeah, also I thought it was pretty cool that Thunderbolt Ross in here is voiced by Travis Willingham, who you guys know plays Roy Mustang. He also plays Rhino as well, man, so it's kind of cool to see him as well. But yeah, man. I think that's about everything I can talk about with Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man that I want to talk about, man. I don't think I'm probably missing something, but at least nothing I can think of on the top of my head, man. Like I mentioned before, this is a fantastic show. And also thought Pearl was cool, man. I like what they did with her. She didn't really do a whole lot much, man, but I like what they did with her in relation to Lonnie, with her trying to like get him out of this criminal underworld, man. I thought they had some really nice moments in there, man. And Peter's, and I don't know if I mentioned this in my first breath, but Peter has like a crush on her. She used to babysit him, man. Which I'm like, bro, you are cooked. You are in the only friend zone. You are kid zone, man. There is no coming out from you. Will that happen in season 2, where that you see them start to like build something, man? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that, man. But yeah, I thought she was pretty alright for the little bit of screen time she has. And yeah, like I said, that's about everything I got for I want to talk about for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Like I said, it's a fantastic show, man. I'm really excited to see what they have for season 2 and season 3. And yeah, we'll see if this show does eventually earn the right to be compared to Spectacular. But we'll have to end the 90s series, of course, as well. But we'll have to wait and see on that, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social if you feel like it. Links to the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.